Let me mention the album one more time. It's called Water the Flowers, Pray for a Garden, and the band is at Revolution Hall tonight. Alex, Rob, Kara, thanks for being here. Ferd's in the back. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys are from Toronto, correct?
Correct.
It's a vibrant music scene in Toronto. A lot of big names have come out of Toronto. And I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. Drake, The Weeknd, Rush, Alanis, Broken Social Scene, Neil Young, Valley. What role does the Canadian government play in helping a new artist get started? Because they really are very, very generous to the arts, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're amazing. They we have a bunch of different funds. We have like Ontario Creates Fund, which helps with like music videos and kind of on the creative side, and then we have Factor, who gives you money from recording to writing trips to touring, and we have just unbelievable Star Maker. They're unbelievable government programs and grants that just give you free money that it's non-recoupable, and it's just like get out there. And honestly, a big part of it is getting into breaking Canada. It's getting to the States because it's so expensive to just even cross the border and tour. So yeah, I think the backbone of it is just built on Canadian music getting out there globally.
I think it's fair, honestly, because our government gives a lot of business grants as they should for small businesses, and I feel like looking at it this way, I mean, starting out as a young artist is, if you're looking to make a career out of it, is also starting a small business, and so you're looking to export other types of businesses. Why not arts as well?
So the takeaway I'm getting is, if you want a career in the music industry, you should become a Canadian citizen.
Yes.
Because they're going to help you out.
It's a brick of gold.
One of you said, I was you or Kara or Rob or Alex, one of you said this new album feels kind of like going back to your roots, kind of feels like a rebirth. What did you mean by that?
I just think I think the mindset of going in to make it was very different. Like when we made our first record, maybe we made it out of a need, not a want. And then I feel like when you have a little bit of success, if you have the right people around you, they'll harbor that magic and be like, we can't let you lose this. And I think we lost it a little bit. And it was all our kind of own doing. It was just us kind of experimenting. But I think we were positioned in the chessboard of like, oh, we have like a million different paths to go down. And we just kind of tried every one and turned over every stone. But then we realized that like that had an expiry of like experimentation, and the true things that matter are like, the wanting to make it, and the need has to come first before the want. And this record we like needed to make. We were processing a lot, and we lost a band member. And
how do you go? You lose 25% of the band. How do you? Yeah. What do you do? What'd you guys do? Did you have soul search and think, should we continue?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's still an ongoing process. Like this is our first tour without him, and it's been like it's just been like a ride, And making the album was, I think, part of the internal grief of it. Like we had to process like just the physical space, like not being there.
Excuse me for interrupting. We should mention he didn't die.
No.
His name's Mickey. He's pursuing a job in music production.
Yeah. He's slaying.
I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
he's still with us.
He's gone.
Just dead to you.
Yeah. But yeah, and that was like the making the album was like the internal grief of him not being here anymore, and we were friends for like 12 years or whatever. So it was a long time. And then now the tour is almost like we're grieving him like on stage and like and on the bus and like in the green room and like all the like the little dumb things you don't think about. So but yeah, I think the record just came from us needing to write about, missing him and kind of losing him in the structure of the band. And I think some of the best art comes from that. Like you need to have something to say or something to put out there. Yeah. I think, especially in the industry now, I think there's such a fast farming attitude to putting out music. It's like, oh, if you go away for a year, you're screwed. Like you can't. It's like people and artists need time to, and this is not like us putting ourselves on a high horse. We just like people need time to gather things to say. And I think from now on, it's like we kind of set a boundary of like, well, if we don't have anything to say, we're not going to put out music. Like what's the point? We don't want to give people nothing. We want to make sure. So I know this felt like the first time we had something really, really heartfelt and powerful to say. So I think that's what the roots, I think, meant. They kind of felt like the first record.
I like that. And Rob, you said something once that I really liked, an analogy comparing a song that an artist writes at some point in their career to a tattoo.
Yeah.
What may have seemed like a good idea 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Is there a particular song that feels that way too? I know one of your songs went viral during the pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the way I process it. Because, like, I'm also so grateful for that song. It got us to Asia. It got us to a global stage. But, I mean, you'll talk to any artist. I feel like even if you think, like, their sound hasn't evolved or anything, I don't know. I feel like if you talk to, like, Kings of Leon, and it's like, you know, they're probably so tired of You Somebody, but they know how important that song is. And, you know, that they wrote that probably, 10 years ago now? Longer. So they're probably different people since they first wrote it. But for us, yeah, I like that analogy where it's like, oh, it's just it's on you forever, but if sometimes you learn to live with it, and you get other tattoos and you write other songs, and they're all a part of you, and they're important in the journey, as long as you don't get too scared of them. I think that's the important part.
I like that. Last question. I'll direct it to you, Caro. You guys are on a long tour. You went all over the States, then all over Canada, then to Europe. Mm-hmm. When you're on tour, what's the one thing you miss the most about home? Is it food or an animal or a spouse?
Yeah, it's probably my dog, which is actually my sister's dog, but I'm delusional.
I was gonna say, you're an
it's
auntie.
my dog.
You're not.
She's an auntie.
Everybody was like, she's not your dog. I'm like, whatever. But she did live with me for the first 2 years of her life, so I feel like she's my dog.
That's rough.
And she's just the sweetest. She's the sweetest little angel. I know. My sister, because she was living at home at the time, and then she moved out with when she met her now husband. So the dog is now living away, but not too far. But yeah, I was looking at photos of her in my bunk last night.
Just FaceTime.
I know. I was like, wait, I could literally FaceTime Cosmo on her little iPad. But yeah, I think we all miss the dog.
Good answer.
Yeah.
The dogs.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Thanks again for being here, folks.
Thank you so much.
One more time for Valley, everybody.